Luka Dončić sat alone in his Dallas apartment at midnight, staring at his phone. The Mavericks had just been eliminated from the playoffs. Again. First round. Again. He'd put up 35 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and it didn't matter. Social media was destroying him. Empty stats, playoff choker, not a winner. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Luka, it's Bron. What LeBron James said in the next 30 minutes would transform Luka from a talented scorer into a championship-caliber leader. This is the untold story of the phone call that changed everything. May 2022. Dallas Mavericks eliminated by the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. Luka had been spectacular all series, averaging 32 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, but it wasn't enough. The Warriors' experience, their championship DNA, their ability to make winning plays in crucial moments, it had been the difference. Luka sat on his couch, lights off, watching the Warriors celebrate on his TV. They were going to the finals, again. Meanwhile, he was going home, again. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Probably media wanting a quote about the loss. He ignored it. It rang again. Same number. Damn it. Luka muttered, answering. Hello? Luka, it's LeBron. Imagine getting a call from your hero at your lowest moment, someone who's been exactly where you are, offering to show you the way forward. If this story is already hitting you, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. Luka sat up straight. LeBron? How did you get my number? I know people, LeBron said with a slight laugh. Listen, I just watched your whole series against Golden State. Can we talk for a minute? Yeah, of course. What's up? I want to tell you something nobody told me when I was your age, something I had to learn the hard way, and I don't want you to waste years figuring it out like I did. What LeBron said next would expose the one thing holding Luka back from greatness. You're one of the most talented players I've ever seen, LeBron began. At 23 years old, you're doing things that took me years to figure out. Your feel for the game is generational, your passing vision is elite, your scoring ability is undeniable. Thanks, I appreciate. But you're missing something crucial, LeBron interrupted. And if you don't figure it out soon, you're going to end up like me in my first Cleveland stint. Insanely talented, putting up huge numbers, and never winning when it matters. Luka was quiet. He'd never heard anyone talk to him like this. Not his coaches, not his teammates, not even his family. Do you know what I'm talking about? LeBron asked. No. Luka admitted. Leadership. LeBron said simply. Not the fake kind. Not the rah-rah speeches in the huddle. Real leadership. The kind that makes average players great. The kind that makes good teams into champions. I try to lead. By scoring 40 points, LeBron cut him off. By getting triple-doubles. Luka, I've been watching you for 3 years now. You're doing exactly what I did in Cleveland from 2003 to 2010. You're trying to win games by being the best player on the court, and it's not enough. It will never be enough. The words stung because they were true. Then, what am I supposed to do? Luka asked, frustration creeping into his voice. LeBron's answer would reveal the secret that took him 7 years to learn. You need to make your teammates better, LeBron said. And I don't mean by passing them the ball. I mean by making them believe they're better than they actually are. What does that mean? Let me ask you something, LeBron continued. When Jalen Brunson has the ball in a big moment, do you trust him? Luka hesitated. Yeah, I trust him. But do you really trust him? Or are you thinking I should have the ball right now? Silence. That's what I thought, LeBron said. And here's the thing. Jalen can feel that. Your whole team can feel that. They can feel when you don't truly believe in them. And when they feel that, they don't believe in themselves. But I'm the best player on the team, Luka protested. Shouldn't I have the ball in big moments? That's exactly what I thought in Cleveland, LeBron said. And you know what happened? I went to 7 straight finals without winning one. Because I was so busy being the best player that I forgot to make my teammates the best version of themselves. Luka stood up and started pacing his apartment. So you're saying I shouldn't try to score? No. I'm saying you need to understand the difference between scoring because you're talented and scoring because it's what the team needs. There's a huge difference. What LeBron explained next would change how Luka saw basketball forever. Let me tell you about Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. LeBron said, Warriors, Oracle Arena, everything on the line. I had 27 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. You know what nobody talks about? What? I only took 11 shots in the second half. 11. In a Game 7. Do you know why? Why? Because Kyrie was feeling it. JR was feeling it. The team was flowing, and my job in that moment wasn't to score 40 points and be the hero. My job was to make sure we played the right way and everyone was in the right position to succeed. That's leadership. But you also had the block, Luka pointed out. The chase down block on Iguodala, that was a hero play. Exactly. LeBron's voice got more animated. That's the point. Real leadership is knowing when to be the hero and when to empower others to be heroes. I made that block because it's what the moment required, but I also stepped back and let Kyrie hit the shot because that's what the moment required. Luka stopped pacing. This was starting to make sense. You're 23 years old, Luka. You're already better than I was at 23. But you're making the same mistakes I made. You're trying to do everything yourself because you're capable of doing everything yourself. But championship teams don't work that way. Then, how do they work? LeBron's next words would reveal what separates good players from champions. Championship teams, LeBron said, are built on trust, not talent. Trust, and as the leader, you have to be the first one to give it. Give trust? Yeah. You have to trust your teammates in big moments even when everything inside you is screaming to take over. Because when you trust them, they start to trust themselves. And when they trust themselves, they become better players. What if they miss? Luka asked. What if I trust Jalen with the big shot and he misses? Then, you lose together, LeBron said simply. And you come back the next game and trust him again. That's how you build championship culture. Not by being perfect, but by being together. Luka sat back down on his couch. Is this what you did in Miami? No, LeBron admitted. In Miami, I had Wade and Bosh. We were all alphas trying to figure it out together. It worked because we were all willing to sacrifice. But when I came back to Cleveland, that's when I really understood it. I had to teach Kyrie this same lesson. I had to teach Kevin Love this lesson. I had to teach myself this lesson all over again. And that's why you won in 2016. That's part of it. But the other part is this. LeBron paused. I stopped caring about being the hero. I started caring about winning. There's a difference. But what LeBron said about Luka's future would force him to make a choice. You're at a crossroads, Luka, LeBron continued. You can keep doing what you're doing, putting up huge stats, winning regular season games, losing in the playoffs, or you can evolve. You can become the kind of leader that makes everyone around you better. The choice is yours. How do I do that? Luka asked. Specifically, what do I need to change? First, start talking to your teammates differently. Not just in games, every day. Ask them about their families, their goals, their fears. Build real relationships, not just basketball relationships. Okay. Second, in practice, make a point to involve everyone. Don't just work on your game, work on making them better. Pass to the guys who don't get the ball enough. Encourage the role players. Make them feel valued. That makes sense. Third, and this is the hardest one, in big moments, sometimes you need to defer, not because you can't make the play, but because making your teammate make the play builds something bigger than one win. Luka thought about all the playoff games where he'd taken 30-plus shots, all the moments where he'd waved off teammates to ISO, all the times he'd complained about not getting help when maybe, just maybe, he hadn't empowered them to help. This is hard to hear, Luka said honestly. I know, LeBron replied. When Dwayne Wade told me this in 2011 after we lost to Dallas, I didn't want to hear it either, but he was right, and I'm right now. You're too talented to waste years figuring this out. What LeBron revealed about his own struggles would show Luka he wasn't alone. Can I tell you something I've never told anyone publicly? LeBron asked. Yeah, of course. After we lost to the Spurs in 2007, I went into a depression, not clinical depression, but I was lost. I'd carried that Cavaliers team to the finals by myself. I averaged 25 points in the finals against one of the greatest defensive teams ever, and we got swept, destroyed, embarrassed. Luka listened intently. And you know what I realized? LeBron continued. I realized that being the best player on the court doesn't mean anything if you can't make your team better. Tim Duncan wasn't the most talented player in that series, but he made Tony Parker better. He made Manu Ginobili better. He made every role player on that team play like an all-star. That's what I was missing. Did you figure it out after that? No. LeBron laughed sadly. It took me 3 more years. 3 more years of playoff disappointments. 3 more years of putting up 30 points and losing. It wasn't until I went to Miami and had to share the spotlight with Wade that I finally got it. What changed? I had to learn that greatness isn't about dominating. It's about elevating. I had to learn that the best version of me wasn't the guy who scored 40 points. It was the guy who made everyone else score 20. But LeBron's challenge to Luka would force him to face an uncomfortable truth. "Let me ask you something honestly," LeBron said, his tone more serious. "And I need you to really think about your answer. Okay. Do you want to be great, or do you want to win? What's the difference? Great players put up numbers. Winners put up banners. Great players get individual accolades. Winners get championships. Great players are remembered. Winners are immortal. So which one do you want to be?" Luka thought about all the 30-point games, all the triple-doubles, all the highlight plays. And then he thought about watching the Warriors celebrate while he went home. "I want to win," Luka said quietly. "Are you sure? Because winning means sacrifice. It means some nights you're going to score 18 points instead of 35, because that's what the team needs. It means some nights someone else is going to hit the big shot while you set the screen. It means your stats might go down while your wins go up. Can you handle that?" The question hung in the air. "I don't know," Luka admitted. "I've always been the guy. Since I was 13 years old in Real Madrid, I've always been the one who takes over." "I know," LeBron said, "and that's exactly why you need to evolve. Because what got you here won't get you there. The skills that made you an all-star won't make you a champion. You need to add a new dimension to your game." "What dimension?" "Trust." What LeBron said about the Mavericks' future would reveal an opportunity Luka was missing. "Let me tell you something about your team," LeBron said. "You have something special in Dallas. You have a young core. You have a coach who believes in you. You have an organization that's built around you, but right now you're wasting it." "Wasting it how?" "By trying to do everything yourself. Jalen Brunson is a future all-star if you let him be. Dorian Finney-Smith is one of the best role players in the league if you empower him. Maxi Kleber is a championship-level role player if you trust him, but they can't reach their potential if you're always in takeover mode. So you're saying it's my fault we're not winning?" "No," LeBron said firmly. "I'm saying you have the power to change it. There's a difference between fault and responsibility. It's not your fault that you're wired to take over. It's how you became great. But it's your responsibility to evolve beyond that." Luka took a deep breath. "This is a lot to process." "I know. That's why I'm calling you now, not later. Because if you start implementing this next season, by the time you're 26, 27, you'll be ready to win it all. But if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll be 30 years old wondering why you never got past the second round, despite being one of the most talented players ever." But the example LeBron gave about his own career would show Luka exactly what he needed to do. "Let me tell you about the 2020 Lakers championship," LeBron said. "I was 35 years old. I averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists in the finals. Great numbers, right? Yeah, that's incredible, at 35. But you know what made that championship special? It wasn't my numbers. It was that I made Anthony Davis believe he could be the best player on a championship team. I made Kyle Kuzma believe he could make winning plays. I made Rajon Rondo believe he still had something left in the tank. I made that entire team believe in themselves." "How did you do that?" "By trusting them in big moments. By giving AD the ball in the fourth quarter, even when I could have taken over. By letting Rondo run the offense, sometimes, even though I'm a better playmaker. By celebrating their success like it was my own success. And that's why you won. That's part of it, but the other part is this. I had learned that my legacy wasn't about how many points I scored. It was about how many players I made better, how many teams I elevated, how many championships I could win by empowering others." Luka stood up again, this time with purpose. "So what should I do tomorrow? Literally, what's the first step?" LeBron's specific advice would give Luka a roadmap to transformation. "Tomorrow morning," LeBron said, "call Jalen Brunson, Tell him you watched his tape from the Golden State series and you see areas where you can get him better looks, not better shots for you, better shots for him. Okay. Then, call Dorian Finney-Smith. Ask him what he needs from you to be more effective. Don't tell him what to do. Ask him. Make him feel valued. Make him feel like his opinion matters. That's it? No. Then call your coach. Tell him you want to work on getting your teammates more involved in big moments. Tell him you're willing to sacrifice stats for wins. Tell him you trust the team. And you think that'll make a difference? I know it will, LeBron said confidently, because I've done it. I've been where you are. And I'm telling you, the moment you start making it about them instead of about you, everything changes. Luka walked to his window, looking out at the Dallas skyline. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why are you telling me this? Why do you care? LeBron's answer would reveal the real reason for the call. LeBron was quiet for a moment. Because I see myself in you, Luka. When I was 23, I was exactly where you are. Insanely talented, putting up huge numbers, and completely lost about what it takes to win a championship. Nobody told me what I'm telling you now. I had to figure it out through failure, through heartbreak, through 7 years of playoff disappointment. And you don't want me to go through that. I don't want you to waste those years, LeBron corrected. You're too talented. The league is ready for you to be the guy, but you have to evolve first. You have to become a leader, not just a star. What if I try this and it doesn't work? Luka asked. Then you'll fail as a leader, instead of failing as a hero. And there's honor in that, there's growth in that. But I don't think you'll fail. I think you're 1 year away from figuring it out, maybe less. 1 year. Yeah. Next season, if you implement what we talked about, I think you make the finals. The year after that, I think you win it. But that's only if you start now. If you start changing how you lead, how you trust, how you empower. But LeBron's final challenge would force Luka to make a decision tonight. Here's what I want you to do, LeBron said. Right now, tonight, I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. What decision? Decide what you want your legacy to be. Do you want to be the guy who put up huge numbers and never won? Or do you want to be the guy who sacrificed individual glory for team success and won multiple championships? You can't be both, so choose. Luka looked at his reflection in the window. He thought about all the accolades, all the All-NBA teams, all the statistical achievements, and then he thought about never holding that Larry O'Brien trophy. I want to win, Luka said firmly. Then prove it, LeBron challenged. Not with your words, with your actions. Starting tomorrow, call your teammates, empower them, trust them, make them better, and in 2 years we'll have this conversation again, but it'll be about how you did it, not how to do it. I will, Luka promised. I'm going to do everything you said. I believe you, LeBron said. And one more thing. Yeah. Don't tell anyone about this call. Not the media, not your friends, nobody. This is between us. Because the moment you start talking about changing, people will watch to see if you fail. So just do it quietly. Let your actions speak louder than your words. I won't say anything. Good. Now go get some sleep. Tomorrow's the first day of your evolution. What happened over the next 18 months would prove LeBron right. Luka hung up the phone and sat in silence for an hour. Everything LeBron said replayed in his mind. The trust, the sacrifice, the evolution, the choice between being great and being a winner. The next morning, he made those phone calls to Jalen, to Dorian, to his coach, and he started implementing the changes. 2022-23 season. The transformation was subtle at first. Luka's scoring average dropped from 28 to 26 points per game, but his assists went up. The Mavericks' offensive rating improved. More importantly, his teammates started playing with more confidence. Jalen Brunson left for New York that summer, but Kyrie Irving arrived. And instead of clashing with Kyrie like people expected, Luka empowered him, trusted him in big moments. Let him be great. The Mavericks made the Western Conference Finals. Again, but this time was different. Luka wasn't trying to do everything himself. He was making everyone better, and it showed. But the real test would come in 2024. June 2024. NBA Finals. Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics. Luka was 25 years old, 5 years in the league. This was his moment. Game 1, Luka scored 30 points but had 10 assists. He got Kyrie 24 points by trusting him in crucial moments. Game 2, Luka scored 23 points but grabbed 12 rebounds and dished 9 assists. He focused on making defensive plays and getting others involved. Game 3. Back in Dallas, Luka scored 35 points, but the difference? He scored them within the flow of the offense, not forcing anything. Throughout the finals, you could see the evolution. Luka celebrating teammates' baskets like they were his own. Luka setting screens for role players. Luka trusting the game plan even in tight moments. The Mavericks lost the series 4-1, but Luka had transformed. He averaged 29 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, minus empty stats, but winning plays. His teammates believed in themselves because he believed in them first. And what happened after the finals would complete the circle. After Game 5, Luka sat in the losing locker room, disappointed but not defeated. His phone buzzed. LeBron, proud of you. You played like a leader. That's the foundation. Now build on it. Luka smiled. Then he looked around at his teammates. Kyrie, lively. Washington, all of them devastated. But also, all of them better because of him. He stood up and addressed the team. This hurts. But we learned something this year. We learned how to play together, how to trust each other, how to be a team. And next year, we're coming back stronger. 6 months later, Luka signed a Supermax extension with Dallas. In his press conference, a reporter asked, "What changed for you this year? You seem different, more mature." Luka thought about that midnight phone call, about LeBron's words, about the choice he made. "I learned that being great isn't about scoring points," Luka said. "It's about making everyone around you better. It's about trust. And once I figured that out, everything else fell into place." The reporter followed up. "Who taught you that lesson?" Luka smiled. "A friend." This story is fictionalized, but it captures a real truth. Luka Dončić is at the exact same crossroads LeBron James was at 23 years old. Incredibly talented, putting up huge numbers, but learning what it takes to be a championship-level leader. The 2024 NBA Finals happened. Mavericks versus Celtics. Luka averaged 29.2 points, 9.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists. Great stats, but Dallas lost 4-1. The question now is, will Luka evolve from stat stuffer to team leader? LeBron took 7 years to figure it out. Went to Miami, came back to Cleveland, finally won in 2016. The lesson? Talent gets you to the playoffs. Leadership wins championships. Luka is 25 years old. He has time. But does he have the wisdom to evolve before wasting his prime? That's the real question. Greatness isn't about individual achievement. It's about collective success. It's not about being the hero every night. It's about empowering others to be heroes. LeBron learned this lesson the hard way, through failure, heartbreak, and years of disappointment. The question is, will Luka learn it faster? Will he evolve from a talented scorer to a championship-caliber leader? Only time will tell. But if he does, that midnight phone call with LeBron, real or imagined, will be the moment everything changed. Because true greatness isn't measured in points per game. It's measured in championships won. And championships are built on trust, sacrifice, and making everyone around you better. That's the lesson LeBron learned. That's the lesson Luka needs to learn. That's the lesson we all need to learn. If you're reading this and you're in a position of leadership, whether in basketball, business, or life, ask yourself, am I trying to be the hero, or am I trying to make everyone around me better? Because the answer to that question determines everything. LeBron figured it out at 27. Luka is figuring it out at 25. When will you figure it out?